Hi there. In this video, we're going to be talking about how we could be using TestNG as a test framework in Eclipse and doing work with your Selenium RC server. What I'm talking about is, let's say you have your Eclipse. As you can see over here, I have the need to uh, include a TestNG framework in my Eclipse RC server test. So how do I do that? So for that, the very first thing which I got to do is I got to install TestNG framework into my Eclipse. And to do that, I will have to navigate to a site which is for TestNG, and that site is basically http // www. It's a TestNG, testng.org, and in there we have a document section, and the document section talks about the Eclipse integration, or how do you plug in TestNG into Eclipse. Okay, so here's what we have all the details. You could always download stuff from here and read all about the TestNG documentation. You have everything here as once TestNG plugin gets installed into Eclipse, how would you find the details about it? You have to go into the show view, and then you have to go into the Java, and then you got to look into the TestNG, and then that's where you would be able to find the TestNG. If you have to create a class of TestNG, you could also do that by selecting the wizard. So you will go right click on your source and say new class, and then you will select other, and then from there you're going to go into TestNG and then select the TestNG class. Now, so some of the details are here. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be walking you through the whole thing as how we could go ahead and then do such things in here. All right. So to get started, number one, we have to go and we have to look into how we could add this into our Eclipse. Okay. To do that, what I would do is in Eclipse, we have the section where we will okay, let me take you into the installation here. Once you have installed the plugin, so to install the plugin, just click on that, and then if you take a look here, it says that if you have the latest version of Eclipse, which is 3.4, and at the time of this recording, that's was that. So you're gonna take this, this address, and let's come back into Eclipse now, and then go into help. And in help, what I'm trying to do is trying to install the TestNG plugin into Eclipse. Well, I already have it, but I'm gonna walk you through as how to do that if you guys have to do it. So click on help and click on install new software. So when you click on that, it is going to bring you up over here, the available software, and over here you're gonna go and then paste that address. And as you can see, once you do that, it is going to detect and find out what kind of plugin I have on that side, which I could add to Eclipse. That's basically what is happening behind the scenes. And it comes back and says that, hey, I found a TestNG. So should we go ahead and then add that? So once you check it, the button in the bottom here that gets highlighted, meaning that you could go in and then you can start to bring that thing in. So when you do a next, basically, as you can see, it is trying to install, and then it is telling me that the operation cannot be completed because I already have it, right? So in your case, if you see here on the bottom, it says that TestNG will be ignored because it's already installed, right? So in your case, that's not going to be the case. So the next step would be, it would calculate the total number of the size rather it needs, which is a megabyte. It's hardly any size. So you would just go and then click on finish, and then basically after you click on finish, it'll get installed. Now the question is, how do you make sure that it got installed on your machine? The way you make sure that it got installed on your machine is, first of all, you have to restart Eclipse, right? Make sure that you restart Eclipse. And after the installation, you go to this menu bar, and in the menu bar, you go to the window, this window, and in the window, look for show view, and in the show view, you have to find if TestNG is successfully installed. You will see this TestNG over there. All right. So if the TestNG will show up, then you know that everything is dandy. All right, everything is good, everything is fine. Okay, now this is basically nothing but the installation of TestNG as a plugin in Eclipse. All right, now let's go ahead and then take some new features of TestNG by creating a new project. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get started in here. I say File, New, and over here I'm going to be creating a new project. All right. Now there are a couple of ways of doing that. I could go File, New, Java project, or I could also do File, New, and then do an other. And over here, as you can see, I can select a TestNG class. What I'm going to do is I will show you this later on as how to do that, because that requires you to have a complete idea of what is annotations. So in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to do that. Right now, I want to introduce you to what is annotations in TestNG, because if I go this way, it already gives you those annotations. So you have to have the understanding of the annotations before we take this route. So I'm taking you step by step and trying to make you understand what are the different annotations which comes in the TestNG framework. So let's do the other way. So we're gonna go into project, or rather file, and new, and Java project, or project is fine. And over here, we're gonna go under Java, or let me see if we have something here. Okay, so let's do it this way. We'll go File, New, Java project. All right. Okay, so let's create this Java project and call this as TestNG, and this is the demo for TestNG. All right. Okay, do next. All right, now again, we have two things which we could be doing in here. Since we installed the TestNG as a framework over here, now I could go ahead and I could get into the libraries here and try and add the TestNG. So as you can see, it is already added here, TestNG jar, because unless you want to remove it, it is already there. And my TestNG jar is found in my folder Selenium and all jars. So if I take you there, this is my, as you can see, this is Selenium all jars, and in here I have TestNG 6.1, right? So that's so it's like selecting that. It's saying that. Okay, so that's what is selected. All right, and I'm gonna hit finish. Okay, so as you can see here in the bottom, I have this TestNG demo. All right, so now we are here in the source, and in the source, I could right click on here and then go and then select my new. All right, Now here I have the option of either selecting it as a new class, or I have the option of going into other, and in the other I could go and then I could pick up this testng class. Let me just show you, if I do it this way, what would happen. So if I go and if I select other, now notice this is what I was talking about. You have here annotations, all of these annotations. So it is saying that in the testng framework, you could be using all of these annotations or whatever you would like to use. So rather than picking up these annotations from here as my very first demo, what I would do is I would create those annotations, and I would create the methods and the annotations. And then in my next example, I'm going to be coming and then selecting from here. So if I cancel out of here and then go ahead and then do this again, right click and new, and then I'm going to say a regular class. In this class, it's going to come back and then it's going to ask me what is the name of the class. I can call my class anything. So let's say I want to call my class as um, hmm, as the, let's do this, screen gas, screencast test, right? So why do I have this uppercase? Screencast test class, let's say. Okay, so that's sitting under the source folder. That I do not have a package, even though I could create a package here. So just for the heck of it, so that we are slightly different. So let's go and then call this package as test package. So I have this testng demo as my project. In there, there's a source folder. That's where all my source code is going to go, and all this is going to be in a package called test, right? And let me just so the heck of it. Okay. This package name is discouraged by convention. Package name usually start with a lowercase. So that's basically what I wanted to show you, that every time you use this package as an uppercase, it is discouraged. So in Java, it is better if you start your package name with a lowercase. Now, likewise for the name, for the name it doesn't matter, right? For the name of the class. Okay. Now, are we going to be using any public void main in here? No, we will not, because we will see as how we could be creating our functions, and those functions with the use of the annotations will get to work in a certain way, right? These annotations are nothing but directions, or um, um, sort of definitions telling that function how it needs to be treated. Okay, so you will understand what I'm talking about in a second once I get into this finish. Okay, so once I do that, I'm here. So my package is test, and this is my class called screencast test class. Okay, what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to go and then create some methods in here. So the first method which I'm going to create is, let's say, in this method, I want to start my RC server, right? So to start my RC server, I would say public in void and let's say start RC server, right? Okay. Now, if I'm starting RC server, then I would have a function called public void and shutdown RC server. All right. Okay. We do that. Okay. All right. So just for the heck of it, inside in here, I will just do. I'll do sys and I will say that this here we will have the code to start RC server, or I would rather say RC server starting. All right, and let me put this in the comment up here. So here we will have the code to start RC server. All right, makes sense. So when I am ready to do when I'm ready to write the Selenium code, I'm going to come in here and then type the Selenium code here. Here we will have the I should say Selenium code. So here I will have the Selenium code to stop the RC server. RC server stopping. Okay, alrighty. Okay, so these are my two methods. All right. Now I will go in here. Once the RC server starts, then I will go ahead and then I will have my test, right? So for my test, what am I going to be doing? Let's say public void, and I will have a test to login. Let's say so test login, right? Test login, and I'm going to be doing the login here. Okay, now I have three methods. So far, I have three methods. Now, what I can do is I can start using some annotations. With this annotations, what would happen is it will tell when to run this method, when to run this method, and when to run this method. All right. Okay. So what we can do, there are a bunch of annotations in test ng, as you saw from the other template when we were trying to start a class. You notice that there were a bunch of annotations. So let's talk about what are those annotations. Now there is something called at before test. Something called at before test. There is something called let me just comment this for now so that we can just go ahead and then see what these are. There's something called after test. Okay, and then there is something called before method, right? Before method. And then there is something, of course, if there's a before method, there has to be something like after method, right? So there is an at after method, and likewise there is something called test. So at test. And of course, down the road you will see that we have some more. There is something called data provider. There's something called data provider. What is a data provider? We're going to be coming to that and talking about that. But basically, you'll find that that is also used, quite a bit when you have to do parameterization of data. So why don't we just put it in there so that we know that we got to be talking about it. So over here, I'm going to say at data provider, right? And there is also something called at before suite, and then there is at after suite. Okay, so we're going to be talking about these things. So to get started, let's take a look into the before test. What is before test and how can we use before test? Okay, before test is before the execution of any test, you want to make sure that this function gets executed. This function gets executed before the execution of any test. So if I put right before this annotation, it is supposed to do that. Now notice that there's a squiggly line, red line and red squiggly line. That is because if I hover my mouse on top of that, it is going to tell me that okay, this is what you have to do. You have to import this before test. So I'm going to go and then select that. And once I do that, right on the top, I have this, and then this before test annotation error goes away. Okay, likewise, after the test, I want this to run after the test. So I could go and take after test and then do that. So this is my after test, and I take the after test and then come over here, and that's will give me a squiggly line. Bring my mouse over here, import that, and then that's going to go away. Okay, now this is before test, this is after test, and this over here will be typing our code to do what? For the execution of the test. So here we'll have the code, we'll have the Selenium code to test and this test case, right? And you can say that test case execution starting, right? And eventually it is going to end. Okay, so here I could go in here and then put some information here that is about what? That is about logging in, right? That is about logging in and all that. Okay, but as of now, if I just go and run and see what would happen right now, so let us see what happens. So if I'm running it, I could go in here and then how do I want to run it as? So run as now because we are using the testng. So I could just go and then click on that, and then over here it will say that run as what. So select a way to run Java applet. It should have given me the testng way of running it. So let me see. So if I go right click on this and run as so because I started this as okay, let me see, run as, okay, run as the testng test. So I highlighted my project and I say run as testng test. So once I click on that, basically it's going to give me some output here. The output which it is going to give me is over here, as you can see. It's a testng running, and wherever it is running from it. So RC server starting, RC server stopping, and then it tells me what is the default test. Test run is 0 because there's nothing in there. And then these are some of the details which I have in there. Now, if I go in here, this is the results tab, which shows me what tests were run and what is happening in here. It is going to tell me everything about it. Okay, now to go and take a look, we never made this as a test, so there was no test which got executed here, right? Because I have to put an annotation right on top of it saying that it is a test. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to come here and then put on top of it at and the annotation is at test. So if I do a test, this is going to be squiggly line, right click on that and then go ahead and then do that. So this is going to be my test now. If I go and then if I say run as, right, now notice that it gives me the testng test because I already executed it. So now when I am going to run, again, I have two things here. Number one, the console window. In the console window, it tells me, because this is the before test, right? RC server. This is test case. This is the test itself, and then this is the after test. All right. So coming back here, it gives me a nice little way of seeing that. Okay, I have these tests which are in here, right? So I could log in, right? That was the test which we tested. Okay, now we could do a couple of things in here. What we could do is we could go ahead and then add one more test in here. So to add one more test, basically I'm going to be copy pasting this. So take that and then come over here and then add a test. And this is for logout test, let's say, right? You log in and then you have to log out. This is a test for logout. So I have these two tests right now, and I'm going to go and then I'm going to run this and run as, and when I run this, this is going to come back and tell me few things. Okay, what it is telling me now, I have RC server starting, test case executing starting, RC server stopping. Now over here, if we go, this is a log out test which is running. Now, what happened? Why did not run the other test? Test case. So I would say here, just to distinguish, so I would say log in test case is running, log in test case is running, and log out test case is running. Okay, so now if I go and if I run it, okay, this is going to give me some better reports right now. And over here, we have test run is 2. Test run is 2. And as you can see, login test case executing starting, log out test case execution starting, RC server stopping. Okay, so we have created what is called a test ng test over here. Now we're going to look into a couple of other things. There's before test, right? And then there's something called before method. So let's talk about what is before method. So for before method, this is considered a method. So before executing a method, before running every test, right? We want to execute something. All right. So we want to execute something. So let's say I have, this is a login. After I log in, I want to do something, right? And then I will log out, right? So let me go ahead and then create another test. And in that another test, what I would do is, let me just copy this. And after you log in, the test is to search after you log in, you search, right? So this is the search test case execution is starting here. Okay, if I run it right now, that means that there are 3 tests which are going to run. Okay, that's no problem. So I do that, and then you notice that once I go in here, I have my 3 tests, and then if I go in here, this is login, log out, and then search. Login, log out, and search. So you have to log in, and then you have to search, and then you have to log out, right? So what happened in here? Why the execution order got changed? Basically, the execution order never got changed. These are listed in alphabetical order. So this is not how it was done. Basically, the way it was done was over here. So as you can see, this is login test case execution started, logout test case execution started. Why? Let's take a look. And search logout. Search test case execution started. Okay, this should have gone in this order. So let us see. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we will try. This is going to be our actual test. So for this actual test, before I start the test, I want to run this part. I want to log in, right? I want to log in, and then I want to do my test, and then I want to log out. So this is not going to be a test anymore. This is going to be a function. So I will say before method, right? So over here, I'm going to come and say this is going to be my before method. This is going to be before method, and this is going to be my after method, right? After method. So what does that mean? Every time I have to run a test, I want to make sure that I log in, and then I do my set. So this is logging in. This is not the test anymore. This is the before test. So this is not a test. So this is logging in here, right? And log out here, right? So the code. So login code is getting executed. Login code executing here. Logout code executing here. So it's no longer a test. It's a function executing here. So this is going to be my test. So let's see what happens right now. If I run this, basically what would happen is my before test will run, Selenium server will get started. It will log in, and then it will do this test, and then it will log out, right? So, and if I have more than one test, it's going to do the same. So now the test is only one, but it will, RC server will get started, login code executing here, search test case will happen, logout will execute here, RC server. Let's say if I put one more test, one more test, what would happen now? With one more test, every time I want to execute a test, it will do the uh, at before method and at after method. So over here, this is search for I don't know, search for Selenium videos, right? This is search for QTP videos. All right. So now we have two tests. So this is Selenium video search. So just so that we know what is happening, Selenium video search, and this is we will say that QTP video search. All right. So okay, now basically what is going to happen? First, when we run, it is going to run the before test. Then it is going to run this before method. Then this test, right? And then it is going to run the after method, and then it will come back because there is one more test here. So it will come back and then still run the before method, and then run this QTP videos test, and then run the after method, and finally conclude with the after test. All right. So let us see how we're going to be doing that. So there are two tests to run, right? So that's these are two tests to run, two tests. But let's see how it is running. RC server is starting, login code executing here, QTP video search executing there, logout executing. Okay, as you can see. So this is the before method and this is the after method. And then there's the before method again, right? And then the Selenium videos get tested. And then this is the after method. This is the after method. And then this is the after this is the after test. After test. All right. That's the after test. Method is basically your test annotation is the method. Test annotation. I mean test annotation. So what it is saying, after method, that means that after this, every time after this it is going to run. Before method is every time after, before this it is going to run. And test means that the whole thing. All right. Okay, so that's what we have done so far. In our next video, what we will be doing is we'll be trying to fill in all the details here, meaning write some code, and eventually we'll be looking into something called producing some good, decent reports. How we're going to be doing that, and eventually we'll be talking a little bit about the advanced concepts of how to do TestNG, implement TestNG as a framework in a complete manner. All right, thank you so much for watching this video, and we hope you would come back and watch some more. Better yet, if you want to become a student of our course, please visit our site. We are traininglight.com. And we do offer training in QTP, Selenium, LoadRunner, SOAP UI, web service testing, Quality Center, and a lot of other courses. So if you want to take the next step and want to learn some advanced topics and whatnot, then you should be looking into joining a course. And we got all the details here of when we start a course, what are the different courses we have, what is the pricing of the courses and all that, right? So feel free to visit the site, and if you have any questions, do write us at sales@traininglight.com or give us a call at 732-998-6650. We conduct our trainings from New York, so we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. One more time, thank you again for watching this video, and we hope to see you back on another video, or better yet, in one of our classes at traininglight.com.